I feel like the vanilla in this coffee is too strong.
Yeah, it smells very good, but the taste, it's just not it.
Yeah.
It's just not it. Anyway, today's topic is not about coffee.
It's similar to putting milk in your coffee. If you guys are a Jerome Dickey fan, he was an author, a Black author, and he wrote many books. But anyways, if you are a Jerome Dickey fan, I'm pretty sure you will get the slogan or you'll get the joke, I guess, on why I said that.
I've definitely never heard of it.
Oh, and Jerome Dickey was an author.
Okay.
So, yeah. I remember because of my sister, she used to collect all his books and she used to read them. And then I would read them secretly when I was younger, even though those books were way
Advanced
for me. I would still try to sneak into her room and read them. So, yeah. I think I'm getting used to the taste, though.
It's not terrible.
I think the milk has helped a lot.
But yeah, so if you're new to the channel, welcome.
Or welcome back to this Thing of Ours podcast.
Where we talk about all of life's highs and lows.
And everything in between.
And this coffee is definitely one of those lows.
The coffee's not that bad. It's not that bad. I mean, I think my coffee was up to here and I've been drinking.
It's drinkable. It's not the worst coffee I've ever had, but it's definitely not something I would repurchase.
It's not strong enough, I think, for that first morning coffee. This is more like an afternoon, your last coffee where you don't need that much caffeine to get you through the day anymore, you know? But it's going to do the job.
Yeah.
So, speaking of milk and coffee, today we wanted to talk about our experience, right? As a interracial relationship. And this topic wasn't just a random topic. It was actually like something I wanted to talk about from last week. So last week when we talked about, wanting to travel and, exploring people's different cultures and learning about that, it kind of like made me think back about our relationship and when we first met in a small town, being a huge minority because that city is very predominantly white. Definitely it's gotten more multicultural, but when I first moved there, it was very like you could be the only Black person going to a restaurant or going to Walmart, going to the mall. Like it was very
there was no diversity. there really wasn't.
I was like, where am I going with this? Okay.
There wasn't. It was like 95% white people when you first moved there in 2012. Yeah. It has changed over the years. Like when we met, it was 2015. And it was slowly starting to change a little bit. The schools, the colleges and universities were bringing in a lot more international students. So that was helping to create a little bit of diversity within the city, but it still wasn't there yet. So when we first met, it was very...
It was a
different.
Challenge.
Yeah.
I think. For me.
There were some challenging parts to it, for sure. And we'll get into that throughout this video, explaining the different experiences we had to go through.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen last week's episode where we did talk about culture and just traveling and experiences in life, kind of that we want to do, we'll put a sneak peek right here.
Of what you missed. Sorry, I'm not even on my game this time. I am not on the ball. All right. Here's a sneak peek of what you missed.
See different places, not only the people too. It's the landmarks. Like you said, you want to see the pyramids, right? Like the landmarks are really cool, and it's different than what we got here in different places in the world, right? All right, so I just want to kind of touch on a little bit of how Sudbury was growing up, because that's where I was born and raised. So being from Sudbury and it being predominantly white, I, at the time, had only had white girlfriends. All my friends were white. They were dating white girls. The girls were dating white men. Like, that's really all it was. So I feel like to step outside of that, it was almost unnatural, and people would kind of maybe not judge you. That might not be the right word, but they may definitely think it was weird. And I feel like society as a whole does kind of present that in movies and different things, right? They tell you you're supposed to be with certain types of people, right? And I feel like that's something that I had to kind of accept, that people may potentially look at me different if I dated outside of my race, right?
But I want to touch on the movie scene. I feel like they didn't make it weird. They made it like a funny weird. Like, oh, like the white boy is nervous to meet the black parents. You know, like, oh, they're not like, you know what I mean? Like, guess who? Guess who's coming to dinner? Even in Fresh Prince, when the aunt was dating the white boy, you know what I mean? Like, and she was getting married. Like, I feel like they talked about it, but they made it in a funny way, kind of not being awkward, but also being awkward, you know? And even Jungle Fever. Have you guys seen Jungle Fever? That's a very old movie. I think it's Spike Lee who directed it. But I feel like with the media, that's they try to almost make it, is it exotic? I don't really know how to explain it, but they make it seem like it's this big thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh my God, she brought home a white man. Like, type of thing.
No, for sure. And actually, when you just said exotic, it made me think of A Bronx Tale.
Oh, yeah.
When I found out her name, I thought it was going to be something exotic, like Monique.
That's a scene from the Bronx Tale. It's literally what they said in the movie, you know? But like that's what I mean. Like they try to pursue it like it's a scary thing, like it's exotic, and I don't know, and it's really not like that. It's
almost unnatural is what they're trying to present it as.
Yeah.
And it's not what should be happening. So it's like you said, a big thing if you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And even like something new. But like the movie with Sanaa and Simon Baker, I can't say that on everyone's experience it's going to be like that. But for me, I feel like I was more nervous to go in public because I saw all these movies. You know what I mean? And I kind of felt like that's the way people were going to look at me, which was going to be awkward. Mm-hmm. So I feel like before I even had a chance to really just give this relationship an open chance right from the start, I feel like my mind was already made up on what society was going to think about me when we would walk together through the mall or going to a park or something.
No, society does, like movies and the media and all those different things, even family and friends, where we grow up, like everything kind of conditions us to be a certain way and think a certain way and think certain things are right, certain things are wrong. You shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you will have preconceived thoughts of dating outside of your race. You will, just based on all that.
Yeah, with the stereotypes, like white people don't season their chicken or don't clean their chicken. They just take it from the little packet and drop it inside the pot.
Hey. Some stereotypes are true.
Curse, do you clean your chicken?
Now I do.
There you go. There you go.
But anyway.
I'm sorry. Okay. Go on.
Yes. There are some things that you learned from me. There's some things that I learned from you.
Yes.
Some things your culture does. Some things my culture does. Mm-hmm. But yes. So, I mean, after getting over kind of looking past what society thinks we should be with or who we should be with, we kind of have to find out who we want to be with, right? Like, does it matter if they're from a different culture? Like they are a different race. Maybe they were even born in a different country. Yeah. So they are totally different. They have totally different traditions, values, like things like that. But getting over that, I
Mm-hmm.
think that's just like a small little thing. And going deeper into who the person really is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do they actually value in life? Can you get along with them? Can you see yourself being with them
Mm-hmm.
for the long term?
When you say that society tells you who you should be with, um, I feel like for me, it was a challenge at first because you didn't really understand why I was mad about certain situations that would happen around the world.
Yeah.
You know, like the racism and things like that. Because I remember when I was in school, I took this class called multicultural in a predominantly white college. And we're talking about racism. And one of the students said that racism doesn't exist. And I remember like being so angry because it's like, really? Like, how can you say that knowing rightfully you live in this small little town that racism doesn't exist? You know, like, and things like that would get me so mad. And when I would talk to you about it, I felt like you didn't quite understand because you weren't exposed to, you know, anywhere else because you never lived anywhere else,
Mhm.
right? Like you weren't exposed to, you know, the different stares that you would get, or you weren't exposed to, you know, being discriminated against and things like that. So I feel like it was hard to talk to you about those things at first and try to get you to understand it from like my point of view or from like, you know, the Black community's point of view because of where you grew up. You know, you didn't grow up in a multicultural city, but even though, you know, even in a multicultural city, you still get racism, but it's different, I think, when you're only surrounded by white people and that's all you see 24/7 type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I feel like it's worse actually in a city that doesn't have diversity because you aren't, like you said, exposed to it. You don't see, or even people don't even really talk about it because it's not in the forefront. Like there
yeah.
is no one to talk about or to be racist to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that doesn't mean that there aren't people that would be like that if it got more multicultural.
Yeah.
But when it's just white people, there's no one to be racist to, basically. So growing up, you don't see it.
Yeah.
And that's why probably that person in your class was like, no, it doesn't exist. You know, we're in 2020, whatever year it was.
2016.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was 2016. But you know, it's like I felt like it was hard and I didn't really get to explain, you know, because no one would get it, you know, and I felt like that at first. Who you think someone should be with also depends on, you know, your family as well. Because, you know, even though you are the first white guy I've dated, but you're not the first white guy that I've talked to, right? And definitely in Sudbury, I remember, you know, meeting like, you know, friends, family members, definitely their parents, and them taking a shock, like a step back to, and you always know when someone's like shocked to see you because of the body language that they give you, the vibe. So I remember, you know, meeting, you know, his parent, like someone else's parents, and then being like, what? It's little things like that that kind of like take you back and you're like, yeah, this is awkward. But I feel like, you know, meeting the parents and meeting the friends of, you know, when I met Curse's parents and he met mine and our friends at the time, I felt like that was the easy part, you know, but we already made a vlog on Meet the Parents. And if you haven't seen that video, we will leave a card right above here so that you can watch it right after this one.
When I was on Tinder as well, like, because we did meet on Tinder. If this is your first video that you've seen, we met on Tinder. I wasn't looking for anyone really specific. Obviously, I had my preconceived thoughts, like we mentioned earlier, how I should technically be dating someone that's white because of what I was raised in and what I knew, basically. So that's just what I thought I was going to end up doing. But I seen your pictures and I started talking to you, got to know you a little bit, and it just worked.
Yeah.
But I mean, society, I feel like, tries to present certain races in certain ways.
I feel like in every race, though, there is going to be the assholes in every race. You know, no, oh, I'm going to date a white boy because, you know, he going to treat me better. No. There's douchebags, there's assholes in every race. But when you started talking to me, I was just like, okay, what do you want? Okay, he's curious. What do you want? Yeah, like you were like, well, no, I want something more. And I was like, does your family know you're dating? You want to date a black girl?
I'm pretty sure you did say that too.
Yeah. It's like, does your family know? Does your mama know you want to date a black girl? Does she know? Does she know I'm black?
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure you did actually say that. And yeah, like I told her, like, she had no problem with it. Like, my mom never raised me to be like that. My mom's talked to black men before and dated them, right? So seeing that throughout my high school before I even met you, like, I knew it was kind of okay if I wanted to, and I knew my mom at least wouldn't judge me on it. Yeah. And she would accept you for you. Right? So I think that helped me kind of get over that little bit of a hump.
Like, you didn't feel like it was awkward.
No.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing. Like, that's why I say, like, me and the family and friends part, like, once that happened, I knew my family was good. You know, like, I just didn't know about your family, you know? But once you got over that hump, it was like, all right, now let's go into public. And I feel like that's where, you know, the real trouble, the challenges started. And I feel like that's where things kind of got heavy on our relationship, because I cared so much about, you know, what other people thought about us when we were walking through the mall. You know, like the dirty looks that we would get, you know, the way they would like look at us when we were walking through the mall together, when we were eating together, you know? So I feel like that was something that really took a toll on me, you know, at first.
Yeah, no, and it's funny because a lot of the time, like I was just so happy to be with you and that we got along so well and everything like that, that I just went in public and I really didn't even pay attention to what was happening around us.
Bro, I'm ready to throw these hands at some of these old ladies that are dirty looking at me. And Curtis is like, what are you talking about? Who's staring at us? And I'm here ready to fight.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true though. Like, we did get some stares. And I don't know if it was all out of judgment or curiosity. Like, some of them may have just been like, I wonder how they ended up together. You know what I mean?
So and curiosity,
And they were just shocked to see it because at the time there was very, very few interracial couples in Sudbury, right? So maybe it was just like a stare out of like shock, not really judgment. But obviously, because of the preconceived thoughts that society puts in us, you were always thinking that they were judging us. Yeah. Right? So that was definitely something we had to kind of get over. There was a lot of places that like we would go and people just assume that we weren't together. Yeah. Just because we weren't of the same race. Yeah. It's like, what made you really think that? Is that really the only reason? And that's what I had to kind of think in the back of my mind. Like, why would, like, we're basically side by side. Yeah.
And someone would still assume that we're not together. Yeah. You know, and that was the part that would annoy me the most. And I know it's not just us because, you know, I've watched other, you know, YouTube videos on, you know, interracial couples and how, you know, and their feelings, and they would say the exact same thing. So I feel like it's just the way people just assume it would be. You know, they're not together. They're separate. She's waiting for her man. He's waiting for his girlfriend. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's just the way people just preconceive things.
Yeah, I feel like the hardest part for me to deal with, to be honest, was not necessarily when I was with you, because a lot of the time people won't confront you and they don't really say anything. Yes, they might stare, but they're not going to really say much, right? Because they don't want that actual confrontation. But it was when I wasn't with you and I was just in a group of people, or maybe I wasn't even like in that group and I was just sitting on the outskirts, and I'd hear something behind me because the person was saying something about a certain race that wasn't there in the room. So they felt comfortable to say it around the people that were there. And I'm just like, did they really just say what I thought they said? So there was a lot of times where I had to like I felt like I had to say something like, that's very uncalled for. Like, what are you even doing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember exactly what I said at certain points, but it's like, I felt like I had to say something because people should not feel comfortable. Okay. So basically what I mean is, if that person was there, they would not have said it. They know it's wrong, but they felt comfortable in that moment to say whatever they wanted to say.
Yeah.
Right. But me knowing that now, like, I'm in an interracial relationship and now these things are in the forefront that I pick up on them more. Right. I felt like I had to say something when these events did happen.
Yeah.
Right? Because it did happen at school a few times. It happened at work. Like there were times where people said some dumb shit and I just had to confront them about it. But so moving on from the negative side of things,
there were some positives.
There was. So one of my favorite.
He gonna say food.
She's right. It's the food. Trying different food, right? Because like growing up, I've always eaten certain types of food that my family cooked.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of pasta, different things like that, right? Like I have Italian side and then I have a German side. So we ate predominantly those types of foods. And obviously like the little things that everybody eats, chicken fingers and things like that, right? But there wasn't certain things like roti. You know?
This man.
That's like one of my favorite dishes that your mom makes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, like there was lots of different foods that your family cooks at family gatherings that I never experienced in my life. Right? Like even because I grew up in Sudbury, there wasn't even these restaurants to try them. Right? So just meeting you, I was able to try so many different things and it was amazing.
We gained a lot of weight though.
I did.
Like, when you started eating my mom's food, you were putting on pounds, Curtis.
I know.
Your body was never used to that.
It was so good. I just couldn't stop eating.
Yeah.
And I'd like load my plate too.
And go back for thirds. I remember like, going to your grandmother's house for Thanksgiving. And I remember her asking me like, well, what does your family have for Thanksgiving? And then I'll be like, oh, one of the main meals is like, macaroni pie. And she was like, macaroni pie? Is that like pasta but in a pie crust? I was like, what? I've never heard that description before. So I was taken back with what she meant. But then you're like, she meant like, because you say pie. And then you're like, no, grandma, it's actually.
It's just macaroni and cheese, basically. But you call it macaroni pie.
Yeah, the thing is, when I hear mac and cheese, I'm thinking KD. I'm thinking craft dinner type of thing. So that kind of took me back because I've never heard anyone call it, macaroni in a pie crust before. So I thought it was like the cutest thing. Kind of.
Yeah, like she really was like super curious.
She was serious.
Yeah.
Serious and curious. Yeah. So I thought that was really cute. Macaroni in a pie crust. I don't even know how that would taste.
I don't think it would be very good, to be honest.
Yeah, well,
hey, you never know.
Yeah. Never tried that before. But yeah, your favorite food is roti.
One of them, yes. Like there's been lots of things like I've tried The only, like, I've tried the beef patties there.
Oh, patties, yeah.
Yeah, I tried patties, but only really store-bought. I never tried them like homemade or anything like that.
Hmm.
Um, what are some other dishes?
Bakes.
Bakes, yeah. Your mom's, they're basically kind of pancakes, but a little bit
I feel
different.
like pancakes are more flat.
They're flatter and, yeah, I don't know. They're definitely made different than how your mom makes them, but comparing them, that's kind of what you could compare them to.
I guess so.
Yeah.
There's conkies. There's
Conky,
turnovers. My sister makes turnovers. What else is there?
I never really ate codfish
Plantain.
before.
Hmm?
I never really ate codfish.
Mm.
It was all just
Codfish
like
and rice.
bass, pickerel, haddock, like just like your basic fish.
Mm-hmm.
Did
Point
we
is, you love my mom's cooking.
Yeah. The fish cakes?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's lots of things that I got to try and experience food-wise that I would have never probably tried. I mean, who knows? Maybe I would have in the future, but I got to once I met you, which was very nice.
But you told me you tried oxtail before. And I remember because you took me to the first Caribbean store. I didn't even know there was a Caribbean store in Sudbury at the time. And you're like, oh, no, I tried oxtail before. And I was like, you tried oxtail?
I tried it one time. So just before I met you, I think the store had only been there for about a year.
Okay.
And yeah, I tried it one time when I went there. Just because I was curious. It was a new store and I heard about it, so I tried it out.
So that's your favorite thing. That is the best thing.
Well, I mean...
So are you dating me or you dating my mom for a cooking? I need to know, like, what's this relationship about?
I mean, there's benefits. But yeah. No, I mean, there's other things that I kind of got to experience. Like, yes, I grew up hearing rap music and listening to rap music, but other music that I didn't really listen to, like, or maybe I heard it, but didn't really know what it was, like soca. Never really knew what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is I added some spice to your life.
You could say it like that.
I added spice. Oh, God, I'm crazy. Yeah, but and then going back to the family traditions, like happy birthday and things that we do, like, on Christmas, you said that in the previous podcast, you said that, your family, they come over, they talk, and then they eat, they go home. And then you're like, my family, we just stay for hours and then we'll like play board games after we're eating and things like that. So it's interesting to see, other cultures and like what other families do, like how some families, they'll sit around the table and keep talking and, have conversations in small little groups. And then you go to another family's house from a different culture and you're going to see that, they celebrate in a whole different way, and that's the beautiful thing about dating other cultures or even just being friends with people outside of your culture because you get to experience life more, I think.
No, and I like how you said that too. You don't necessarily always have to date someone to experience those cultures, right? Just being friends with someone outside of your race can help you experience different ways of life.
Yeah.
Right?
Like I remember in high school, I had a friend, she was Jewish. And her mom made the best latkes. Oh my goodness. I can still taste it on my tongue. It was so good. Latkes? Is it like a potato, I think? I think it's like the way they make the potatoes. I think that's what it is. I'm not too sure. She made them every single time I would come over because she knew I just love latkes. Yeah. So it's nice to explore, I think, different cultures, So I think that's one of the huge benefits of, I think, making friends and dating outside your race is just you get to explore different cultures and see what it's all about. You're right. And it's not just, I want to date someone outside their race to know their culture. No, it's, I like you not like you are white on the outside, and that's all you are, but you are a human. You have a heart, you got two eyes, you got 10 fingers, 10 toes. I was trying to think for a second. But like, you know, that's how I have to look at you. You know, I'm not looking at you as, oh, I'm dating a white man. You know, I have to look at you as I'm dating a human.
Yeah.
But you're just, your culture is different than mine.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we're kind of all the same. We just do things slightly differently.
Yeah.
That's really what it breaks down to. That's really all it is.
Yeah. And we celebrate things like, you know, the way we sing happy birthday. Speaking of birthdays, someone has a birthday tomorrow. How are you going to be, Curtis? How old are you now?
I'm going to be 33. No, I'm going to be 33 tomorrow. September 12th is my birthday.
He's a Virgo.
Yep.
I love Virgos.
Yeah. So happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. But yeah, no, it's actually funny because speaking of birthdays, like I always grew up just singing the basic happy birthday song. Like,
what's a basic happy birthday song?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear, whatever. Happy birthday to you. And then that's it. But you guys do that, but then you re-sing it with some melody and some beat to it.
We add some rhythm.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, you're funny. Yeah, we actually only started doing that because we went to like this day camp and then they started singing happy birthday that way. So then we started singing happy birthday that way. I don't know. That's how everyone sings happy birthday. I don't know, but that's kind of just how we sing happy birthday. Yeah. And yeah.
It was definitely different the first time I heard it. I was like, what are they doing? I thought we were done.
That was cake time.
Yeah.
I remember you clapping to the song off beat the first time. I won't forget that because I was like, honey, no. Baby, no. Baby, no. You off beat there, honey. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So I think for our final thoughts, I think at first it was hard. You know, I can't say for everyone, like I said, we only can speak on our experience. I couldn't let society tell me who I want to be with or who I should be with. And I think at the end of the day, I think I made the right decision because I think you are a nice person. I think you have good intentions, you know, for our future together. So I feel like if I had allowed that, I wouldn't be with you today. You know, I wouldn't be, I don't know. I can't say I wouldn't be happy and I couldn't say I wouldn't be sad because I wouldn't know what I missed out on.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's, are we happy with who we're with? It doesn't matter who they are. And that's basically the question you have to ask yourself. Like, are you happy? And those people on the outside, do they really affect your life that much?
Yeah.
Right? Do you even know them? Will you see them ever again? Like, just kind of go about your life and just be happy with what you're doing. And that's really kind of the takeaway. It doesn't matter who you're with, as long as you're happy. Yeah, so kind of want to hear from you guys. Have you experienced this? Have you dated outside your race? If you have, leave us a comment. Let us know if you feel like sharing your experience, little things that you have had to deal with or get over, or some positive things about the relationship that you got to experience as well. Let us know. Love to hear what you guys think. Yeah. And other than that,
if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. You can share this video if you want to. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Turn on your notifications so you never miss another This Thing of Ours podcast episode ever again, because we'll be right here next Sunday talking to y'all. So if you also want to listen to this episode, just the audio, we're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So subscribe on there too. And also don't forget to rate this video.
And that's it for this one. You can click the link over there for our previous video.
Yeah. Happy Sunday, folks.
Take care.
Peace.
Like, it almost like glued to your arm for a little bit. And that's just what it looked like. I didn't know that it kind of peeled off and left like almost like a stain tattoo almost.